All right. Moving on to long form games.
Long form
Games.
game.
Listen to that sweet, sweet molasses.
Anyway, so basically, you need to do everything that we just said before,
But more.
but more and more in advance. There could be rule changes for a longer event. There could be some funky new things like siege rules. So make sure you've reread the rules before your long form event.
Make sure you pay for the events up front in plenty of time. Often places will do early bird discounts. If you're a poor student or you've spent all your money on armor and weapons, then maybe get in for the early bird discount.
Most admins will also be happy to do like payment plans and things too, as long as you do it well in advance and pay by the due date. So make sure you sort all that out and make sure you do any paperwork that's required of you as well. So, along with unpacking all of your kit and making sure it's good, fit for purpose, fixed, not moldy, long form games usually see you camping out for a few days, potentially a week. So, well in advance of the game, get your tent out if you've got a tent. If you don't have a tent, buy a tent.
Make sure you know how to put the tent up.
Make sure you know how to pack it down. You got to know how to hold them. You got to know how to fold them. You got to know how to put them back in a bag.
Tents don't go back into the bags that they came in. It's just not going to happen. But I have just literally gotten ropes and wrapped it around a tent to hold it in place before. But yeah, make sure that you're not setting up and packing up your tent for the first time ever at the event, because you may be doing it in the dark and the rain at the same time with somebody's car pointing their headlights at you to help give you some if you're lucky.
If you're lucky and you can get a car that far down.
Yeah.
Speaking of the dark, make sure you arrive on time for your event. With your long form events, arriving early is usually not an option because there are specific times you can access the site. So make sure you arrive exactly when you're intending to arrive. Be Gandalf.
Be a wizard.
Be a wizard. And if you do have to arrive late because you're a grown up and have work or you just have other commitments.
I applied for time off today.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Yay!
I don't know if I'll get it, but
Well, Chakasiki.
everything we just said for regular games applies, plus you're camping, so you need to have some basic understanding of camping, which includes how to set up a tent, where to put a tent, how to pack down the tent, and how to make sure the tent doesn't blow away or flood.
We've seen that happen. Both of those things.
If you don't know how to do those things, I'm not going to teach you here. Find somebody that does know how to do those things, or maybe Google it.
Grab a dad.
Grab a dad.
Grab a dad.
I mean,
if you don't have a dad.
I learned it all from my dad. So.
I learned it all from my dad. And then I just get this dad to pack up my stuff and put up my stuff. But thank you. You're wonderful.
Make sure you bring all the toiletries that you need.
That includes a towel.
And a toothbrush.
Toothpaste.
More sunscreen than what you would bring to a regular game.
Yep. Makeup remover wipes, all your makeup that you need, contact solution, and your contact lenses case. Because you can't keep them in your eyes the entire time.
I mean, how you turned up with them at the event without the case, unless you were just driving with your contacts on for lols.
It's possible.
Some people might just wear them all the time.
Yeah.
I considered wearing them to work. It would be hilarious.
Yeah, I did that once. My boss couldn't look me in the face. Made me stand next to him while I spoke, and we just looked straight ahead.
Yeah. But make sure you've got a mattress and a pillow.
Blankets.
Lots of blankets.
Sheets. Sleeping bags.
Yeah. We're not going to tell you how to set up a bed so that you're not going to freeze to death again. If you don't know, look it up. Find someone that knows. We don't have time to cover all that stuff here.
You will likely find that out in our live stream, though, if you tune in. Along with all your toiletries, make sure you bring any kind of sanitary products that you need. Make sure you bring any medications that you need. I usually pack mine in with my toiletries, and make sure you know if you've got facilities for storage of your meds if you need a fridge. In my experience, there's usually a fridge at our venue anyway that we can put medication in if needs be. Talk to your admins about the facilities available. Don't assume that you're going to have access to microwaves, refrigerators, barbecues, etc. Make sure you read the information they put out and ask any questions that you need to before you start planning.
If somebody is doing a food fund and cooking for you,
say thank you.
Make sure you pay them.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's not happening, don't assume somebody else is going to feed you.
Make sure you sort out your food. Make sure you know what facilities are available so you know if you need to bring a camp stove or other kind of cooking thing. And don't count on cooking over a fire, especially if that fire has had magic dust stuff thrown into it, because you can't cook over that. That's chemicals and bad.
But also check what the state fire services have actually said about fire bans and things. You might not be able to use an open fire.
It comes back to reading all the stuff that your admins post, because they will know that, because the venue will tell them. So make sure you follow the instructions in anything the admins post, because it will be venue rules, and breaking venue rules is a really good way to lose a venue.
Yeah. During the event, make sure that you take breaks. You'll be there for a few days, possibly a week, depending on where you're playing, what event you're at. Make sure that you actually sit down.
Mm-hmm.
Being on your feet for an entire weekend really messes you up if you're not used to that kind of thing.
Yeah, feet, knees, hips, back. I'm not just naming body parts, there's just all the bits that hurt.
Eyes, lips, nails, hair.
Nails, hair, hips, heels. I don't know the rest of that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Love it.
At all.
Love it.
Make sure that you eat. Even if you're playing a vampire and you've got false teeth in, pull the teeth out. Eat some food.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you really don't want to do that, take some liquid food.
Highly recommend you just take real food and take your teeth out. It's what we're going to do.
Are we?
Yeah, we're going to be sensible.
I was going to live off up and go.
No. Shouldn't tell you what to do, but if we're telling these people what to do, we should set a good example. Yes, eat and drink properly.
Sleep.
Mm-hmm. Go to bed at a reasonable hour. It's tempting to just stay up all night because you're having fun, which is awesome, but you're going to need to get up and be functional the next day, especially at LARP events where you got to fight. It's not like a normal camping trip, so make sure you sleep. Make sure you wake up on time, give yourself enough time to have a shower, have some breakfast, and put all your stuff on.
Don't stay up drinking all night with your mates and fail to get up the next morning, because you'll miss out on the event and you've put a lot of effort into being there and people are relying on you. And
you put up a tent.
Yeah, you put up a tent. You turned up, you came to this place, you paid money. You can drink all night and sleep all day when you're at home. I mean, don't. But also, you've come to this event for a reason, so don't waste it.
And on the drinking note, people do come to these events to just drink and chill out with their friends and do a bit of biff, and that is totally fine. But alcohol consumption and being drunk is absolutely no excuse for bad behaviour of any kind, and it won't be tolerated. So don't be that person.
If you have been drinking at all, put your weapon down. Don't pick it up again.
If you can't drive, you can't fight. And you really should not be drinking if the event allows you to until after all the fighting is done.
If the event does not allow you to drink, don't drink.
Get involved in the event when you wake up.
Yeah.
Make sure you attend any briefings that you need to, and then once game is on, game is on!
Don't sit around waiting for other people to tell you what to do. As we talked about in the regular games, have an idea of who your character is. Main purpose of having a backstory is to find out who your character is and work out what their personal objectives are, and therefore how they will respond in any given situation. If you know this, you know your character, you will be able to have an idea of where your character is going to go, what they're going to do, and you will find fun.
And you're going to be able to respond to any situation that's thrown at you, which makes everything even more awesome.
Hmm.
On the objective front, don't be so keen to complete an objective that you break or bend the rules. I know some games are okay with a little bit of a fudging of the rules if it makes the experience better for everybody. But if you're so keen to complete an objective that you completely break the rules and ruin someone's fun, that's not cool. It's not about winning.
Also, admins have put in time and thought and often money and effort into creating objectives, which may include props and things that would not be at a normal game. And if you're not going to follow the rules that have been set for those things, then you're just completely undermining the work that they've put in and stealing the fun that could have been from everybody else.
So don't be that person.
Don't be that person.
And your primary not your primary function. One of the things you should be really focusing on when you're at any LARP event is getting other people involved in the story, even if that's your story or the main storylines. Try and draw in as many people as possible, especially newbies. They might be a bit hesitant to get involved because they're a bit nervous. Bring them in, make them have fun. Don't hog the spotlight.
If you're the only person involved in your story,
It's a bit lonely.
it's very lonely, and it's not LARP.
Mm-hmm.
That's called
Writing a novel.
Go write a novel.
Yeah. Get people involved. Don't hog the spotlight. It's a collaborative effort. Post-event.
Post-event. In all seriousness, after big LARP events, I just take some easy cold. Because the stress of events, you've probably not slept properly. Particularly if you're not used to camping, you've probably gotten cold. You've been running around a lot more than you normally would.
Probably haven't been eating properly.
Yeah, you may not have been eating properly. Get your veggies into you. And yeah, your body will likely have a bit of a hard time fighting off those things that it might normally get away with easily. So give it a bit of a hand.
After an event, if you do end up with post-event lurgy, as we like to call it, which is very common, in the COVID era, make sure you go and get tested. Make sure you let the event organisers know so they can pass any information on that they need to. Just be careful. Be sensible. While we were in Canberra, we asked our friend Avi from Of Science and Swords what were some of his pro tips for coming to a long-form LARP event, because he's been to a bajillion.
He's been to every major LARP event in Australia, at least, I think.
Pretty much. I don't think there's many he hasn't been to. Anyway, he's really, really experienced. He's seen a lot of LARP events. He's seen a lot of LARPers. He's seen the good and the bad. He knows his stuff, so we asked him to pass on some of his wisdom, because he's quite wisdomous. I like wisdomous.
Wisdomous.
I am pretty wisdomous.
It's quite wisdomial.
Wisdom. Here's Avi.
What up, nerds?
Yeah. So, Avi, tips for prepping for a weekend event for LARP.
So I'm thinking of the stuff that other people probably wouldn't have said. You're already doing bring more socks than you reckon, and make sure that you've got enough foods and blankets and stuff. But you're probably not going to see a fresh vegetable for at least 3 days, so definitely take some Barocca, maybe some Hydrolite even if you're getting on the sauce at night, and generally speaking, if you can find caffeinated chewing gum, definitely get that.
That's a thing?
What else? The other thing that you definitely want to make sure that you've got that other people don't really mention, both your silicone oils and your regular maintenance oils for your armor, because I guarantee, no matter what they say about the weather, it's gonna get moist.
Can we buy that from you?
Yeah, we've got several different types of silicone lube. We've got lanolin for steel and leather, and I think we've even got leather wax.
Awesome. Thanks, Avi.
Avi touched on a few things that we haven't been able to cover in this because we're trying to keep time down, so we will go into what you should pack in a lot more detail in our live stream, so please tune in. But Avi is 100% right on everything he said.
All the time.
Always.
Ever. Mm-hmm. Go and talk to him.
Talk to him.
Trust him.
Trust him.
All right, after an event,
Pack yo shit.
get out of there.
Pull all of your stuff out of communal areas as soon as possible so that people can pack them down. pack all your crap into boxes, put the boxes in your car, pack down your tent, put your tent in the car, go help everybody else.
When you leave the site, make sure that you leave it in the same condition that it was when you arrived.
Or better.
Or better.
That's how you keep venues.
Don't leave rubbish. Make sure you get your tent pegs. Yeah. It's amazing how many tent pegs get left sticking out of the ground. I always find them when I arrive at a site. I pull them out, so I do leave a site in a better state than it was when I arrived. Pack your rubbish, take rubbish bags, do not leave anything behind. That's a step, but just a basic thing. Anytime that you're in, well, you know what, just generally, don't leave rubbish behind at any time in your life ever.
If you're in someone else's space, take your stuff with you. And usually you're going to be camping at places that have wildlife, so be considerate. Get off site as soon as humanly possible. So once you've packed your stuff down, help other people pack their stuff down as well, because you usually have a time limit at a venue and you usually have to be off site by a certain time. So pitch in and help out.
Check with your admins if you have any energy left whatsoever that you can offer, and there are jobs that need to be done. Help out if you can. They will be eternally grateful. There will be bathrooms that need to be cleaned. There will be kitchens that need to be packed up after. There may be random bits of rubbish that need to be picked up that can't be left behind.
Rooms that need to be vacuumed. Just, at the end of an event, everybody just wants to go home. We get that, but your admins, and speaking as one of the admins, it means so much when someone just comes up and says, hey, can I clean a bathroom for you? Or, hey, where can I take this to your car? So help out. Be a good human if you've got capacity to do so.
After events, particularly long-form events, people get a lot more emotionally invested in them. And again, lack of sleep, poor nutrition, alcohol, and just spending time with your friends doing something fun over an extended period of time really does tend to hit you in the feels.
It's a brain drain.
It is.
It's an emotion drain. It's really heavy. Even if nothing bad happened to your character, it's just something that you're going to remember. It's a thing. It's a big thing.
Yeah. And make sure that you take some time to actually talk with people and unpack what happened over the course of the event. Share your stories. And just take some time to debrief and sit and be.
You're likely going to want to be alone for a little bit after an event. Maybe. Because you've been around people for an entire 3, 4, 5 days, maybe more. So that's okay as well. So don't feel bad about taking some time out for yourself. And if you come back from an event and you're depressed about going back to reality, totally normal. Totally normal.
Yeah. It is hard to just go back to a normal life after you've had an amazing experience. When you get home, you're going to be exhausted. You've probably travelled. You've spent a weekend doing all sorts of crazy stuff, and then packed down a camp, and then stuff driven and things,
and you're looking forward to a real good shower where you don't have to wear thongs.
But unpack your stuff. Get it out of your car, particularly your weapons. Don't leave them in your car. They will melt.
The pained look on my face is because I never, ever want to unpack when I get home. And I always do. I'm usually forced to. Thank you.
I literally collapsed after one weekend. I had to lie down. Like, I physically could not stand up anymore. I was midway through unpacking the trailer, and I just went, wow, I need to sit down. And I sat down, and then I went, nope, I need to be in the recovery position. And I lay down.
This comes back to eating and drinking properly while you're at an event. But he did nearly do a pass out in the driveway. I had to essentially just throw a Gatorade at him and step over him. And then I had to unpack everything.
Yeah.
Look,
part of my ploy.
It sucks. It absolutely sucks, but it was so much more beneficial to do it then.
Get all your kit out. Air it out.
Oh, God, yes.
That's something you should be doing if you're there for multiple days, when you go to bed, hang your stuff up, let it air out, because you're not necessarily going to be able to wash it.
Mank is mank. Don't be mank.
At a game, you might be wearing it for 3 hours. On a weekender, you're going to be wearing it for 10 hours one day, and
Easily.
then 10 hours the next day, and then 4 hours the next day.
So yeah, get home, unpack your stuff, wash your stuff, maintain anything that you need to. If you can leave a couple of things for the following day, do so, but do as much as you can when you get home, because the next day you're going to be rat shit and you're just going to want to chill.
Probably have to go to work, so.
You may have to go to work. Thankfully, we got holidays.
Yeah, you organise your holidays around the weekend. I've been doing that for years now.
It just happens by accident for you too.
No, well, I mean, I apply for particular times, and then whether I get those times or not. But I always apply for the times where the weekenders are on.
Yeah.
Give myself, which also happens to be my birthday in this game.
So that's long form games in a nutshell. We could have made it a bigger nutshell. Could have been a coconut. What's a really big nut?
I mean, a coconut's a pretty big nut.
Pretty big nut. Is that even really a nut?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Somebody Google the definition of nut.
I mean,
And tell me if a coconut. No, let them do it. Let them do it. Tell me if a coconut is a real nut in the comment section. I'm curious and lazy. So, festivals
are different to a regular game.
They are very different to a regular game. So you are going to need slightly different kit, more than likely. You're usually going to wear your showier stuff that you might not wear to a normal game because it's not overly functional, but it looks good. Like your
insert dwarf picture.
Here. One thing that I will say though, you basically need to do everything that we've already said for your regular games and your long form games. But I will harp on about make sure your stuff is fit for purpose, because what you do at a festival is very different to what you do at a regular game. So make sure your outfit works, make sure you can exist in it for, a 8 to 10 hour day. You can stand around in it, you're going to be asked for photos. If you've got to squat down on a field, maybe don't wear solid armor around your hips. Check with your admins about what the setup is and what your responsibilities are, and see what you can contribute in the way of props and things if that's required. At the bare minimum, bring a chair for yourself and bring somewhere to securely store your stuff out of the way of everybody else's stuff.
Yeah. Don't leave modern stuff lying around if you're at a medieval fair.
Ruins immersion, ruins the experience of the clients, which are the people who are coming to see you dressed up all pretty, because you are usually there as a performer. So essentially you're putting on a show. So you wouldn't answer a mobile phone during a Shakespeare play.
Yeah.
Also, just remember it is a public event, so stuff can go missing. Make sure you know where your stuff is. Make sure you store it securely. Make sure you look out for other people's stuff too.
Don't drive your cars into places that you're not sure whether you're allowed to have cars.
Talk to your admins.
Follow instructions from event staff.
Yeah.
Understand that you're probably going to have to carry things a long distance.
Get a trolley.
Trolleys.
That works for long form laps as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that'll be something we'll cover in the live stream, I'm sure.
Yeah. Look, we have worked really hard to condense this as much as possible. There's so much more we can tell you, which we will do in the live stream if you want to tune in. Keep an eye on the Facebook page as to when that will be. We will figure that out when we look at our schedule for next week. And
our schedule mostly looks like...
Yeah. With swearing, which we won't do excessively here, even though I really just want to swear and scream right now because I'm that tired. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. We hope you have found it useful. As we said, we are pretty wisdom, just like saying the word, and it weirds him out. We will be doing a live stream. We'll let you know when that's going to occur. It will be next week. We'll make that happen. And
otherwise it's kind of pointless,
Otherwise it's kind of pointless. It'll be just in time for the Cicadia and Midgard weekenders that are coming up. So hopefully if you've got any further questions or you've never been to a long form event before, please feel free to tune in. We're happy to answer any questions. We may just be sitting here staring into empty space otherwise, so join us. Join us.
If that happens, we're just going to talk a bunch of crap.
We will. It'll be weird, but you'll be able to watch it afterwards, which could be entertaining for you. But anyway, this has been Fireside Chats
With no LARPing matter.
with our totally real fire.
I love the way the smoke seems to come out of the monitor.
It's not for you, Jen.
Moist. I bought some great stuff,
I bought food.
which I'll be wearing.
Food?
I mean, you're having one conversation, I'm having another conversation. We should probably converse with each other. It probably makes more sense.
Nah.
All right. Well, I bought some things. I'm wearing food. I have noise.
Would you like to see one of the things? Okay, moving on.
We were waiting for a response from you. I don't know what you're doing. Get involved.
Come on, people.
This isn't a live stream, but we're expecting things to pop up on the screen and just tell us what to do.
Exactly. No.
It's not that kind of thing.
I was just really hoping to be like, yeah, we want to see it. And then now they're disappointed.
Oh, wow. I just suddenly had an image of a No Laughing Matter OnlyFans account. I just... No. Unless you're asking me to put on the beard.
Put on the beard. Get the tentacle. I'm going to have that tentacle. Not in that way, but I will own
I'll
a
have that
tentacle.
tentacle.
I will own that tentacle by the time the year is out. Avi, that is my promise to you. I will own a tentacle before the end of 2021.